Warren County investigators looking into the death of a woman and her child. The Southern Standard reporting that the 25-year-old mom and her 14-month-old child were found by maintenance workers inside their home yesterday afternoon. It's on Old Smithville Road. It's in McMinnville. Investigators don't know how long the bodies had been there or the cause of death on either mom or the child.
And Steve, breaking news just into the newsroom. Police are on the scene of an armed carjacking in Germantown. Officers say a group of people approached the victim off Delta Avenue around 5 this morning and robbed him at gunpoint and took his car. That car was found nearby, and CSI officers were combing the scene for evidence this morning. No suspects are in custody, but they are looking for 2 men related, possibly suspects in this case.
Right now, the search is on for an armed robber who hit an East Nashville restaurant overnight. News Channel 5's Matthew Torres has been at that restaurant all morning long getting details, and the robber apparently didn't make off with very much money.
No, not at all. Police say nothing substantial whatsoever, but he did get away with just a little bit of cash from the victims. Now, normally this restaurant closes just around 10 o'clock each night, but it was about an hour and a half later when police say at least 3 employees of El Aliciense were robbed at gunpoint late last night. Now, police say that they were cleaning up and closing the restaurant around that time whenever a man went into the restaurant through the back door with a semi-automatic, pointed that gun at them and demanded for their money, in which they obviously complied. The man was able to get away with a little bit of the cash, but police were called in, even with the K-9 unit, to scope out the land, but they couldn't find a cent. So now they are needing really the public's help in this. Even though there is no video of the actual incident, they have a little bit of a description that they are working with this morning, that they know that a young man, early 20s, mid 20s, about 5'6", approximately weighing 140 pounds, and was last seen wearing a black shirt, a black hat, and dark jeans. So again, scary moments last night for the employees here at this restaurant, knowing that they're at the time they're closing, that is when they got robbed. So if you have information about this, call police. That number is 615-74-CRIME. For now, we're reporting live in East Nashville. I'm Matthew Torres, News Channel 5 HD.
Thank you, Matthew. November 30th, that is the day former Vanderbilt football players Brandon Vandenberg and Corey Beatty will be retried on rape charges after being convicted of raping an unconscious female. Back in January, the men were awaiting sentencing when a judge declared a mistrial last month. New indictments were handed down on Tuesday. Those charges are the same, and the biggest change will likely be the defense strategy.
I don't think anybody would ever try a case the same exact way twice. And so I think for us, we'd like the opportunity to review the transcript, have the opportunity to see what we need to tweak.
No word yet on when Brandon Banks and Jaborian Tip McKenzie will go on trial. They're both charged with aggravated rape and sexual battery.
We are waiting to hear more now about a police raid in South Nashville. Investigators spent yesterday morning searching the house on Shasta Drive, carting out boxes of evidence. We're told it's all part of a fencing operation. No word yet on any arrests.
And new details this morning about a fire that forced people to jump from balconies at an abandoned motel. Investigators tell us 2 homeless people at the Harding Inn got into a fight over money when one of them started multiple fires. 2 people were hurt, but they're expected to be okay. Authorities have now asked the property owner to set up around-the-clock security. So far, no arrests again. In this case, the motel has been closed for years. We're told about a dozen people are living there. And the house fire that killed 2 children and critically injured a teen has been ruled an accident. Fire investigators say an electrical problem sparked the fire in Clarksville Tuesday. A 9- and 11-year-old were killed. A 14-year-old who suffered severe burns is still in the hospital this morning, but we're told he is alert.
Big story just up the road now. It is developing news. Fort Campbell could learn as early as today if it's going to be impacted by moves to reduce the troop size by 40,000 service members nationwide. Its effect could be felt really all over the mid-state. A huge story. News Channel 5's Cuthbert Langley has been looking into this all morning long. So how many cuts are we talking about that could hit Fort Campbell, Cuthbert?
Steve, this will no doubt have a huge impact on the area. We're talking 16,000 both military and civilian jobs could be cut from Fort Campbell. Those cuts could be announced today, but the Department of Defense has not said exactly when they will be announced. Anytime between today and July 26th. No doubt thousands of families are on edge, as is the community as a whole. The reason for this is because the Defense Department, the DoD, says they have had major budget cuts, so they have to slash the number of troops by 40,000 across the nation. So if 16,000 jobs are cut up at Fort Campbell, that's more than half of the 26,000 soldiers and civilians currently working on post. Now, we asked the Fort Campbell spokesperson if they have a better idea as to when the job cuts will be announced, if they're announced at all, and they say they are just waiting like everybody else. They have not gotten a specific date. So no doubt it will be a very tense few days and weeks for the families and the community up there around the Clarksville area and up into Kentucky as well. Now, this is not the first time Fort Campbell has had to deal with cuts. Late last year, it was announced that one of the brigades was going to be cut, and that was a loss of more than 2,400 soldiers in the area. So no doubt much news still to come on all of this. And of course, we will be following this throughout the day. And if we do get word of those job cuts, we'll be sure to update you both on air and online at newschannel5.com. For now, though, we're live in the newsroom this morning. I'm Cuthbert Langley, News Channel 5 HD.